I'm here with Green Valley News and Sahuarita Sun editor Dan Shearer for our new 5 Minutes with a Newsroom segment. Today's topic is redistricting.
So we are starting off this series, and it's called 5 Minutes with the Newsroom, as Kevin said. And what we're going to do is talk to reporters or talk about an issue or something that's going on even nationally, but with a local focus. So today we're going to be talking about redistricting, which is not a very sexy topic, but is probably the most important thing happening in Arizona and across the country this year. Every 10 years, the congressional and the local state legislative districts are redrawn. So let's give a little primer on how this happens. Let's start with the state legislative districts, and that's what we're going to really focus on today. Arizona is divided up into 30 districts. We currently are in legislative district 30. That number is going to change to 19. It'll be easy to remember because of I-19. And every 10 years, based on census numbers, they redraw those districts. So let me give you a little bit of history. In 2010, when they were redrawn, Green Valley and Sahuarita went from having 3 representatives in the state legislature who were Republicans to, overnight, 3 representatives who were Democrats. Because when the lines were redrawn, it became much more of a Democratic district, and they have pretty much dominated for the last decade. So we don't know what's going to happen at this point. Here's where we are. The Arizona Independent Redistricting Committee has put out some draft maps. They did that about the middle of September. All they did with those maps was just divide them up based on population. And now they have other criteria that they're going to apply and hopefully have some new draft maps redrawn by the end of October. So let's take a look at the draft map that we have right now. Because it is different. If it were to stand, and it might not, but if it were to stand, we could substantially change in Green Valley and Sahuarita, because what they've done is pulled the district down a little bit, does not include as much of Tucson, and it X's out South Tucson, which are largely Democratic voters, but it still includes Nogales, but it goes over into Cochise County, which is a little bit of a surprise for people, and it grabs Sierra Vista, which tends to be a conservative voting area, probably because of Fort Huachuca. So could we go back to the Republicans after 10 years of largely Democratic rule? We'll see. Right now we are represented in the state Senate by Rosana Gabaldon, and we have 2 representatives because each district has 1 senator, 2 representatives, so there are 90 members of the legislature, and our representatives are Andrea D'Alessandro, who lives here in Sahuarita, and Daniel Hernandez, who is up in Tucson. So we'll see what happens with those lines. It's very early. They are doing a series of public meetings right now. There's one left on October 7th. You can go to our website and get a link to that meeting. It's actually out of Surprise, Arizona. They've had some that were here, and they've kind of been going around the state just getting public input. They don't want to split cities. They want to make sure they have communities of interest put together. It's all these, there's 6 more criteria that they're looking at right now, but they have to roughly be the same population. Now let's move over to the congressional district. Right now we are in Congressional District 2. We are represented by Democrat Ann Kirkpatrick, who has announced her retirement, so that seat is up in the 2022 election. And by the way, all of these boundaries should go into effect for that election next year. So we will become Congressional District 6, it appears. We are right now, as the draft is drawn, and again, it's not final, it could all change. It does include it includes Nogales and all of Santa Cruz County, and it keeps Sierra Vista in there. And then it also sweeps around and grabs part of the Vale area and on the east side of Tucson. So this district right now is very, very competitive. You remember that Ron Barber once won by a couple hundred votes. Martha McSally, same thing. It can be very, very competitive. We'll see what happens to it when it's redrawn. So all of this is under way right now. It's again something that's not real sexy to talk about, not real interesting to people until they wake up one day and realize, wow, I'm now in a heavily Democratic or Republican district and I don't like that. Now's the time to let the Independent Redistricting Committee know that. So go to our website, you'll find a link to their site and all they're doing and the maps and everything that's going on. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I said, in the future we're going to be hitting other topics in 5 minutes with the newsroom. If you have any that you want us to specifically address, give me a yell. I am at 520-547-9770, or just call the paper and ask for me, or email me at dshearer@gbnews.com. Thanks for joining us.